Hey guys, welcome to a little mini episode of Banter Bets and BPL. We're short-staffed tonight. The pod's struggling. First, we couldn't get out any guests, Sandy, and now we can't even get out the regulars. Coach Cam and Keegan aren't even showing up to work. So thankfully we got you, buddy. Thanks for showing up when most others would not.
Yeah, no problem, man. I mean, we can't have guys just not showing up, especially got someone like Cam. I'm really disappointed in him, especially after he was, first of all, so disappointed not to be a regular on the pod, and he worked his ass off to get back on full-time status, got a full-time contract, and now he's no showing on a Thursday night to do whatever he's doing. It's pretty disappointing from him. We'll have to have some words behind the scenes, I'm sure.
Yeah, some disciplinary action may have to be taken. We're going to call them both into the manager's office next week, and we're going to go from there. But the show must go on. Oh, I titled the podcast of last week's betting podcast, Can Everton Be Trusted? And the answer is a resounding no. And that's, I think, why both of us lost money, isn't it, Sandy? Everton lose 2-0 at Fulham. I know that killed my parlay. My big it was a banker, I thought. Everton home, West Ham home, two solid teams, but Everton got destroyed by Fulham. And you felt that one as well, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, like we were saying, I think I said last week I was circling Everton as my game to hammer, and hammered I did. I was swinging away on that one, and I thought that the thing with Everton, kind of when they fell apart there after their hot start, was a few injuries. We know they have no squad depth. The fixtures were coming hot and heavy, and they just kind of couldn't handle it. But we were hopeful that just like a nice week break and all the boys were back healthy. I guess Calvert-Lewin is a little banged up right now, but for the most part back healthy. I thought they'd be good to go, but clearly they're just not very good.
Yeah, they had us fooled. They had us fooled at the start there. They're permanently in the can't trust basket, and just one of those teams that you got to look at the number and basically bet them when the number's big and don't trust them when the number's not big.
Yeah, they're still not bad. They're still not a bad team to bet because they can get wins. They're a team that can definitely get wins, but if you're using a strategy that we kind of pointed out last week, which probably not a good strategy based on the unpredictability of the season, and just trying to choose one game and go big on it, probably not the team to pick to go big on.
Yeah, so it's kind of like with a girl or with a significant other, I guess I should say. It's with us and Everton, we're on a bit of a break right now, but we'll always have that one memory. We'll always have leads away when the whole podcast was on Everton and they came through for us. So it's like we're looking at the meme of the guy looking at the picture on his bed there and it's Everton winning away at Leeds and the pod making a whole bunch of money. But we're on a break with Everton. That's for sure.
Everton's a nice little girl you can hang out with and have some fun. We definitely don't want to be bringing her home to the family.
No.
Throwing all your eggs in that basket.
Yeah, a couple dating metaphors there already used on the pod. That checks that box.
Couple big dating guys.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into some quality banter. Let's take a look at the fixtures we got this weekend. Another good one, I think.
There's some good fixtures. I think it's a tough weekend for betting. For me, didn't love it, but
most weekends are.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I look at the games. I think there's a few matches where I like the number, and I think the team will definitely win. But we'll go through it.
I was loving last weekend, and then took a -16 hit. So we'll see what happens this week. We start off tomorrow, Friday, 19th of February, with a clash of styles. Wolverhampton at home to Leeds. My question I have for you is, so obviously two opposite teams. Are Wolves more boring or are Leeds more entertaining? Like, who's farther on each side of the scale in terms of entertainment? Are Leeds closer to being entertaining or is Wolves closer to being boring?
Are Leeds
on the entertainment scale? Obviously they're at either end, but who's more close to the extremes, to the polar extreme? Yeah.
So we're kind of looking at like the unstoppable
Yeah,
force was the
yeah,
immovable object here. Like
exactly.
thinking about this game, I'll answer your question in a sec, but in this game, do we think that Leeds can be reckless enough to bring out some attacking
Mhm.
and some fun in Wolves, or
Yes.
will Wolves just be so boring they can manage to bring even a team like Leeds into a cagey affair?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. That's where I was going with that. Yeah.
yeah,
Does Leeds spruce this one up or does Wolves bore this one up?
I knew we were going with that one. I just decided to enter in a different way because that was something I was thinking about already.
Yeah.
I think unfortunately the answer is usually the cagey team kind of sucks the other team
Yeah.
in.
That usually is
Um,
the answer, unfortunately.
Wolves, they're pretty disciplined. They tend not to they're not too excitable. They won't be they won't have they won't see leads streaming forward with one guy back and all of a sudden decide like, oh, we'll send four guys on my counter here. They'll probably stick to their guns and probably drag Leeds into a little bit of a slower game here. But we can always hope, eh? We can always hope that Wolves will come out and try and play a bit.
Yeah, we can hope. Yeah, you're absolutely right though. In the games like this where it's clash of styles, usually the boring team wins the style war, at least. Maybe not the game, but the style war. I don't know. I still think Leeds at 2.87. They're the team that's going to be doing all the attacking. If not just for you want to bet on the team that's going to be trying to win. Uh, like I think I'm going to be with Leeds on this side because I want the team that's actually going to try and win this game rather than betting on Wolves.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna bet the over here, and hopefully Leeds can crack them open.
Yeah,
Um, Leeds trying to crack Wolves open is just will be like you've seen like those videos of guys like trying to crush an egg from the top and bottom side and just like won't crack. We pushing
can't
as
do
hard
it.
as they can, just pushing, and Wolves just be like, yeah, we're good,
Yeah,
we're good.
yeah. I think Wolves. It's almost so early, but you see this happen sometimes, and when the teams are just kind of destined for mid-table and they just pack it in the rest of the season. Usually that stuff kind of starts to happen in like April. I think Wolves have been on that for all of 2021, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Ever since Jimenez went out, they're like, well, our ambition to be a Europa League team is done now. So
Yeah,
we're done with that. We're not going to get relegated. So that's our season over pretty much. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and they're yeah. So yeah, it's tough to it's being tough to get your motivation up.
Yeah.
Takes an exceptional manager.
Especially
All
with
their
no fans.
yeah, all their Portuguese guys are just kind of like chilling in England, just pissed off in the dead of winter. The dreary winter days in England, they're just not really not making up for these games, eh?
Yeah, 100%. All right. Why don't we move along? Southampton, Chelsea. Saints are in a horrible run. I don't know. Have you been on Adams' watch lately? I don't think he's been doing too much, eh?
Che's been hurting. He didn't even start last game. I don't know if
Uh,
that was a rest week or if he just hasn't been doing it for Southampton or what's going on there. I'm hoping they're just trying to get someone fresh going. He'll be back in the squad this week. I think that they got a double game week actually, so you know at least get those 4 fantasy points from.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, Southampton's just getting slapped around pretty bad lately. They're
Yeah. So this is the first time in their Premier League history they've lost 6 games in a row, which is kind of surprising because they have had some bad teams before. So, and I wouldn't consider this to be one of the worst Southampton teams, and yet they've got that record there. So it's a good thing they were good at the start of this. They were in first. They were in first for one at one point, very early on, but um, quite the quite the turnaround for them. And so that kind of brings me to my question: Hasenhüttl, their manager, when he had them flying, it was Hasenhüttl for Manchester United job, for Chelsea job, for go back to Germany and coach Borussia Dortmund, and now it's kind of like it shows how fickle the media is with managers and soccer teams are. And now it's kind of like, oh well, is Hasenhüttl on the way out? Is he done all he can at Southampton and he's not the guy anymore? What do you think it's closer to? Is he a guy that can manage a better team, or is he a guy that's going to get fired from Southampton, or is it somewhere in the middle?
yeah, he was kind of like I don't know if people are saying that, but just based on his antics and heritage. He was like a Klopp light looking like for a bit
Yeah,
there.
flavor
Super
of the month a bit. Yeah.
passionate. Yeah, like I think every time Southampton lose, I feel like they say, well, they haven't won since they beat Liverpool, and like they show like the picture of Hasenhüttl like crying on his knees or like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, he's fallen a long way since that emotional high. Uh, I don't know. I mean, I can't I can't imagine he's going to be getting too many serious looks for big jobs at this point.
No.
But I think Southampton would be pretty stupid to fire him.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'd say it's somewhere in the middle there. I do think eventually he's got a bigger job in him, but maybe we're seeing with this recent wobble that maybe it's still not quite there, and he is I don't know, 2 years away from being 2 years away from the Borussia Dortmund job or whatever he wants to go on to.
Yeah, I don't know really what happened with Southampton. They've just been leaking goals. Like they're back. I guess someone was up at the start of the season where they had the Woolworths team's eyes and they were somehow managing to keep clean sheets.
Yeah.
And now,
Remember,
the veils kind of came down. They can't stop anyone from scoring now.
Well, I remember us talking about that. It was like, how are they keeping clean sheets? Because I don't think Bednarek's very good. Vestergaard is the slowest player in the league. They play a high line, so I don't know how this is working. And now we've seen they've been absolutely hammered sometimes. And I think we're talking about Bednarek with my dad about fantasy, and in the last 6 weeks, Bednarek has gotten my dad like -3 points or something in the last 6 weeks combined, and he's played every single time. So it's something crazy like that. So he's definitely in the worst form of his life. Poor guy.
Yeah, every week you go check the score, and it's just, I mean, goals against, but he's also chipping in a couple own goals, some yellows here and there. Yeah, Reds. He's getting his name in the score sheet for sure.
Yeah, he's really doing the most to he's in the worst run of form in fantasy history, probably.
And your dad's still riding strong with him, eh?
Yeah, I think he must have been waiting for this double game week here, and that was a saving grace. Although I'm still not sure how much
Chelsea
you're getting.
Double game week, yeah.
On the Chelsea side of things, they've been looking up since Tuchel came back, and I think they're back in a top 4 spot now. Definitely in the mix. They got a big game big tie, Champions League against Atletico Madrid, Spain's leaders. Do you see them going through in the Champions League, or is this the Chelsea of 2012 when they fired their manager, looked horrible most of the season, and then somehow went and won the Champions League?
Yeah, can they kind of like muck it up? I don't know. They had Peter Cech back then. Now they're rocking the Kepa, and
Kepa came back in the team. Yeah,
Kepa and Mendy duo. They got the rotating goalies going. I don't know who the number one is. Yeah, I mean, I imagine they'll flame out pretty fast in the Champions League. They've looked a little better here, but I don't think they're a top-notch team still.
So you don't think Werner can be the Drogba, and Kepa can be the Peter Cech of 2012?
Yeah. No, I'm not super hopeful. I don't know. I think you'd have a tough time even getting Chelsea fans to say that they think they can go a nice little run here.
Yeah, I mean they're going to be telling us about how they're in the Champions League and United aren't for as long as that rides. So I'm hoping they get dumped out nice and quick here.
Well, they know it's not going to last long, so they'll be getting their words in while they can. I mean,
yeah, it would be something. Even if Chelsea beat Atletico, I would be surprised. Atletico has been pretty good this season, and I just don't trust Chelsea. But I don't know. I do think at 1.7 against a team that's lost 6 in a row, Chelsea, it's not the worst odds. 2 teams with very opposing forms, but I have a rule not to bet again on Chelsea, so I won't be touching that one. Burnley West Brom. Where did that 3-0 come from, Sandy? Burnley last week against Palace, they were up 2-0 before the blink of an eye, before the ref even was warmed up, and they went up and they went on to win 3-0. You said we were disrespecting them. I was very skeptical of you. I admit to being totally wrong about that. I did not see that coming. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say that I was banging with Burnley, but I also said during that statement that they're ahead of Palace in the table, and then I went and looked, and they're like 10 points back and like fourth last in the league. So I clearly don't know exactly what's going on there. But I
We
don't
don't
know,
need
Burnley.
numbers and stats, just the
Yeah,
feel. You felt it,
yeah.
and it was a banker, easy
uh,
money.
the flavor of the month is definitely Burnley. Like these guys are they're out here getting results, and they got my boy Goodwinson. He's the X factor there, the pinnacle of Burnley, as some like to say. He's back in the lineup. He's looking healthy, scoring a goal this week. But I think the biggest factor was just Crystal Palace there. I don't know if you've seen those stats of late, but they're just shipping insane amounts of goals in like the first 5-10 minutes of games. So they just can't help themselves, and Burnley just walked into that one, help themselves.
So about Burnley, I was thinking about it. If you consider their three best strikers, they have Chris Wood, Ashley Barnes, and Jay Rodriguez. Obviously,
And
Vidra's trash, but
yeah.
Rodriguez, Barnes, and Wood. Like, think of a mid-table team with three better strikers than that. I don't think there is one. Like, they are the deepest teams in terms of, I think, three quality Premier League strikers there. Rodriguez has always impressed me. I know you've been a long-time Rodriguez admirer as well, and Wood and Barnes are very effective. I think they're very deep up front.
Yeah, I'm a big J-Rod fan as well. Yeah, I guess they have three guys who can just come in and do the job, but
Yeah.
they're not super fancy, not providing too much flair up there. But yeah, for sure, some teams like I don't know, looking through here, like Wolves right now would kill for any of those guys.
Oh,
I think.
no kidding. They
Sheffield,
would love that. Yeah, exactly. Some teams are really missing strikers. West Brom, Palace, like, oh, they would kill for all those guys would kill for a Wood or a J Rod, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although on the West Brom side, they have this Diagne guy that scored against Man U. I mean, he's clear. The commentators love him because of his desire. He wants it more. I mean, he literally used Lindelof's face as a mechanism to push off against United, and the commentator said, "Oh, no foul. He just wanted it more." So I guess that's legal now. But in any case, he does look decent. So he'll be a fun one for the championship next year.
Yeah, he'll be a good yo-yo player. I'm sure he'll get brought up on occasion, maybe for a loan spell or something like that, and then proceed to be relegated back to the championship.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really seen him play much, but yeah.
No, me neither. Okay, Merseyside derby. Traditionally a fun fixture, although both these teams are not in good form right now, and definitely not in my good books. But I gotta say, why on earth is Liverpool 1.44 to win this game? What have they done to suggest that they deserve that number beside their name here?
Yeah, I don't know if it's more so about Liverpool or more about the fact that Fulham or Everton just got their asses handed to them by Fulham. So
And Man City, although
we do know the bookies are pretty emotional. They like to look at recent results. So I imagine that's a pretty significant factor. I also imagine that it's like, I mean, I don't know the exact stats if we had our like Bill or your dad or something. Maybe like when was the last time Everton actually won a Merseyside derby?
Oh yeah, that is a great point.
So we got to take history into account a little bit here, and
yeah,
and just know that Everton usually shats the bed in this fixture, and for that reason, I imagine that's a little bit of the reason. But yeah, I mean that's a big time line for a Liverpool team that can't really beat anyone right now.
Yeah, I can't imagine anyone will be backing Liverpool at 1.44. That's got to be the least common bet of the Premier League weekend here.
Yeah, and it's actually when you like Everton a bit more, even like after a couple losses. Like we said, they can win games. So every once in a while, they'll back their way into a win. They'll just kind of like just stumble into one. So they're kind of due at this point. So wouldn't surprise me if they won, but yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be I don't think I'll take them to win, but I do have them in a double chance, which I like a little bit better to get the draw and the win. So we'll get onto that a little bit more with our bets, but I don't know, moving along. I'm kind of glad because this is a 12 o'clock game on Saturday. Kind of sucks how they always have these games staggered now. I preferred it when they were all kind of at once, but
For
this 12 o'clock game, this is a tough watch. Fulham, Sheffield, two teams probably going down, although Fulham's been a little bit frisky. Probably needed to beat Burnley midweek. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this one? We saw some magic last weekend. Maybe you want to touch on that. I know you were the lucky guy who scooped them up in fantasy.
Maja Mayhem, yeah. Maja's all the rage right now. He scored two just, I don't know, absolute garbage goals, but they all go. They don't ask how, they ask how many. So he's off to the races right now. We'll see if he can keep it up. But yeah, I don't know. Like you said, that if they could have beat Burnley there on the midweek, they might have been right back in the mix of things. But
then it would have been game on.
Yeah, looking at the table right now, there's 6 back in Newcastle. Newcastle without Wilson. I think maybe Fulham is not completely written off, especially like against Sheffield this week. This is the game they should win, right? Like Sheffield's got absolutely nothing to play for. Talking about teams who have mailed it in, and they just suck. So I kind of like Fulham in this spot. They got a little bit.
Me too.
They got a little bit of spunk right now. They got a bunch of. I mean, I can't really name 5 starters in their team. They keep just pulling these guys in. All these guys Kieran picked up in fantasy, I have no idea who they are. Getting
Kieran got 33 points
all
from his defenders. Anderson and Aina, you had, unreal.
Yeah, whoever these guys are, they're playing hard, and they got a little bit of fight left in them. So I don't know. I don't mind Fulham right now.
And they've just added some magic. The Magic Man. So many puns to use for Josh Maja. Yeah, I don't know. I like Fulham in this spot too. If Fulham doesn't win this game, then we're writing them off, wiping our hands of Fulham, Sheffield, West Brom, and we're never talking about them again on this podcast. Deal?
I'm not willing to write Fulham off yet, even if they lose this game. I think they have a really easy run of fixtures coming up here. So maybe in 5 weeks, we'll reassess.
Okay.
They got Sheffield and they got Palace and they got Liverpool. All right, we'll pretend that one. City. Okay, so they got a nice little 2-game run of fixtures. I think it was the Burnley game preceding this was a big 3-game run. I think I heard someone talking about. So they dropped the ball in the first one. They got Sheffield Palace in the next 2.
So they need 4. They need at least 4 points.
Let's say they need 4 points in the next 2, and they're back in the mix of things.
All right. And who's the closest? Newcastle that they can catch, I believe. You said
Newcastle.
That?
Yeah, Newcastle's down there, and they stink as well. Losing, so I mean, I hope we get a relegation battle. It'll be fun to see a fun little relegation battle, especially if we don't have a title race in the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's got to be something to cheer for in May.
Good to see those bottom feeders absolutely giving it all. That Villa drama last year was unbelievable. So it'd be nice to have a little bit of something to watch end the season.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to Sunday, and this is a fun line. We got West Ham finally getting the respect they deserve. Tottenham finally getting the disrespect they deserve. West Ham's favored against Tottenham. Are you surprised by this one, or?
A little bit, just based on the kind of team name recognition factor. You don't usually see a smaller team be favored against a bigger team, no matter what the current forms are. So it's interesting to see the bookies put a lot of respect on West Ham here. I don't know. I have no idea what to make of this game. It's even though by all logic, West Ham should win. It's always that kind of that Kane Son factor lingering in the back of your head. Yeah. Tough to bet against Spurs.
Yeah, this one threw me for a loop. I looked at all 3 of these and I was like, well, I didn't like any of these numbers. So I think this is a stay away for me. But it should be a good watch if you're waking up early. I'll try and wake up, and got some fantasy players invested in this one. So should hopefully an okay watch, although with Tottenham, you never know.
Yeah, I don't know. What's the word? Is Antonio be back this week? You been monitoring his health status carefully or what?
I haven't been monitoring it too closely, no, but I would guess that he's out 1 more week.
Those niggly hamstrings, A little touch and go.
Yeah, poor Antonio. He's made of glass.
It's tough when you're rolling Bowen out up front. They're really missing Sebastian Haller right now, eh? You can't be having a little mighty Bowen up front. You need a little more little more
Bowen's
muscle up there.
Bowen's got more fight in his pinky than Hilaire has in his whole body.
Yeah, could be.
Unfortunately, just doesn't have the size. Yeah. Aston Villa, Leicester.
Should we talk about Lloris a little bit?
You want to? Sure,
Lloris has been?
sure. Because we did have a discussion about Lloris. I've been off Lloris almost exclusively since he came to Tottenham. You're a bit more of a defensive. Maybe this is goalkeeper union sticking up for each other. But why don't you jump to Lloris's defense? Because it's been some rough going for him in the last few weeks.
Yeah, I'm not gonna defend him too much. The reason I liked Lloris in the past, and the reason I would like, after that Eder, I think you said that after the Eder goal, like the Euro goal, people were like, "Oh, he's too small. Like you gotta be saved now. You can't even get to his post."
Yeah.
And that's kind of true. But I would always take a goalie who is not just like who doesn't make mistakes. And Lloris was always pretty solid, good with his hands. Like he's quick. Kind of like Casillas was. They don't make too many mistakes. Maybe they're not getting to all these making these hero saves, but they're consistent. But of late, he's just been letting in some howlers. It's sloppy back there. So it's if you're not big and you're not and like balls are going through you, what are you doing in there? Can't do anything really. So he's concerning now. I think people are starting to call for his head a little bit at Spurs, so I can get this guy out of here. Time for a new goalie.
Yeah, I think his days could be numbered. I don't know, this season or next season could be his last for sure. Yeah, there must be something going around the Premier League goalies because it's De Gea, it's Allison for sure lately, and it's Lloris as well. Obviously, Pickford's always good for a mistake or two, a heart and mouth moment. So something going around with these Premier League goalies.
There's definitely been I don't know if it's unusual. There's been a significant amount of just bad goals. Every week there's a few where it's just goalie just making some horrible mistake and you're like, what's going on here? So I don't know if that's maybe the players are getting better or what's going on there, and they're being like something with the balls and something like that, or they're moving a little more or something. But there's definitely more errors with the goalies these days than I'm used to seeing. I don't know if you think that as well.
Yeah, and you'd think without fans there would be less pressure and they wouldn't make as many mistakes. Like especially you think in an away game in England and the fans are on you all game as a goalie. I would hate that, and they would be pouncing on any mistake. Yeah, exactly. You'd think there would be more mistakes with the fans, but it's been more mistakes without fans. Maybe it's just recency bias, and like we obviously have no stats to back this up, but it definitely has seemed that way. Maybe there's just bad goalies in the Prem. I mean, Aaron Ramsdale is still a starting goalie in the Premier League this season, so he was last season too. He's going for double relegation. Ramsdale, he's one of those guys with two different teams.
This just shows us being a goalie is a tough job, eh?
Toughest job, toughest position to play. Absolutely. All right, moving on a little later Sunday morning, Aston Villa, Leicester. And I really was hoping Keegan would be on this podcast because every time Leicester plays a big team, I did it with Chelsea. I said, Keegan, who wins this game and who finishes ahead? He said Chelsea. And then last weekend, Leicester, Liverpool. Keegan, who wins this game? Who finishes ahead? He said Liverpool. Leicester's been proving them wrong every time. And I don't know, is Leicester legit? Obviously, they're a legit top 4 team, right? Or are they you still got to prove it to them after that? Do they still have to prove it to you after last season?
Nah. I love Leicester right now. They're out of Europe. They don't have any Europe, or they're in the Europa League still.
Yeah,
they
played today.
So I didn't look through their lineup today. I'm gonna assume the fact that they drew some shitty team, they probably played a mediocre lineup and didn't care too much. I think Leicester, just based on everyone else around them, has got a real good shot top 4. They're balling out right now. So we gotta start putting some respect on that team, eh?
Yeah. What do you figure? Man City, Man United, Aston Villa, and Leicester in the Champions League next season?
I was a lot more bullish on Villa. I don't know, like Villa they tease you and then they put in a performance like last weekend where they just get worked by Brighton, and you're like, oh, maybe they're not quite as quite as top 5 capable as I previously assumed, because that was a pretty disappointing effort getting worked by a lower team like that. So I'm gonna back off my Villa for the Champions League take a little bit. Say they're still in the mix, but yeah.
We were talking about bad goalies. Emmy Martinez definitely is not one of them. Goalie of the season for you?
I think so, yeah. Based on fantasy production alone.
Yeah, he's definitely been the best fantasy goalie.
He's the MVP. But yeah, he's been stellar. Makes a shit ton of saves.
Yeah. Did Arsenal make the wrong choice? Should they have sold Leno? Probably could have got more money for Leno too, because he's a bigger name.
Definitely gonna get more money for Leno, but I don't know. Toss up there. Leno's pretty good too.
Yeah, Leno's fine, definitely. But yeah, Martinez, yeah, he's not that young either. Like he's not just a guy busting onto the scene. He's paid his dues. You love to see it. A career backup getting a shot finally.
Yeah, I think he's 28 or so. So it is kind of goes to show that.
Love to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That should be a fun game, hopefully. Grealish, Madison, seeing them pull the strings. Vardy, Watkins, lots of weapons in that game. Should be a fun one. Moving on, we got Arsenal, Man City. Is Man City going to lose another game this season? Maybe 1 or 2? I don't know. And like literally in all competitions, I don't see them losing more than 2 games this season.
Yeah, we'll have to revisit our Man City Cup debate, see if Cam's updated this. What did he say? 2 cups for City? Like, what a shitty fan. What a shitty fan.
Did he not say 3? But the one they wouldn't win was the League Cup final, which they're in against Tottenham.
Right.
But I think he said they'd win the other 3.
He had a bit of a weird take. I think we ridiculed him a little bit. So we'll have to see what his current thought is. I don't know. You're that confident in City in the Champions League? I mean,
well, when I say I'm going to say I don't think they lose more than 2 games. That doesn't mean they're going to win the Champions League. It means they could go out of the Champions League without losing a game on away goals. But I think they lose 1 in the Champions League, 1 game, whether that puts them out or not, I don't know. And I think they lose 1 in the combined league and FA Cup. And I think that's all they got in them. They look unreal. They look amazing. I can't believe we were ever questioning them.
So if you had the over under right now, you'd set that 1.5.
I'd set it at 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
2.5.
Yeah.
2.5. All right. I'd hammer that over. That's giving them a lot of respect. But yeah, they're balling right now. They're gonna lose to Arsenal this weekend just to shut us up, eh?
Maybe. I don't think. See, this is my hammer bet. This is my all in on City. I know it's only 1.5, but I'm gonna have a lot of money on City this one. Yeah. I don't think there's any chance they lose to Arsenal. Yeah, I'm going all out on this one. Well, maybe not all out, but
Champions League. Who they play in Champions League?
Who does City play in Champions League? I'll get back to you on that one.
No, I agree though. Like Arsenal's rotten.
Yeah, Arsenal are rotten. Yeah.
Although let's do our due diligence. See who they play in Champions League.
City play Borussia Mönchengladbach next week.
Okay, so not too much of
a huge
an intimidating foe there, but
and either way, City rotate every game anyway, and they still roll teams.
I know they're a joke,
mm-hmm.
And they don't even have Aguero and De Bruyne right now. I'd love to see Aguero. I'd love to see Aguero get back. What do you think?
You say you don't know if we are, or you'd love to see him get back?
I'd love to see him back. You think?
Yes.
You think he's never going to play again, and they just kind of have him around just for the nostalgia factor for the fans?
He must.
That guy's been hurt for so long.
He must play again. He's got to be back. Within a month, he's got to be back.
Yeah, he'd be a little next factor. They should just save him for the Champions League. Just a little Champions League weapon, maybe like a super sub for the Champions League. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't work him too hard. You don't need to play him in the league. Just make sure he's nice and healthy, nice and rested up.
Absolutely. Aubameyang hat trick last weekend against his old fantasy owner Kieran. In the least surprising news. So pour one out for Kieran. Although Kieran won still. Kieran had his Fulham defender, so Kieran has nothing to complain about from last week. It was funny that he had Aubameyang score a hat trick against him, but
No,
Um,
Kieran's absolutely stoked right now after that result. He wins his game. He gets to talk about his Fulham pickups for the rest of his life, probably.
yeah.
The week that he picked up 2 Fulham defenders and they got him a combined 60 points. That'll be an anecdote he's telling on his deathbed for sure.
Oh, he'll be telling
And,
everyone in Div 2 next year all
yeah.
about that.
Yeah, watch out, boys. I once picked up 2 Fulham defenders and got 60 points. So that's what you're dealing with here. And his favorite thing in the world, he has to complain about being unlucky. So, I mean, he hit the trifecta there.
Yeah, you're right. Kieran is actually on cloud 9 after this. I don't know what I was saying there. Yeah. City to win to nil even. The only reason I'm not picking City to win to nil is Aubameyang is coming off a hat trick, and you never know. Arsenal could be worth a goal, a cheeky goal or two, but you know they're going to concede, and I'm very confident in City this week. I'm going to be moving some money on them for sure.
All right, I mean, I'm definitely gonna have him engaged too, but I'm not sure. I'm not gonna be quite as confident as you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Manchester United drop points again against West Brom. Disappointing result. The goal was a foul, but still, they go the whole game and they couldn't break them down. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still angry at United. Good result in the Europa League today, but I don't know, man. Thank God they have Bruno. That's all we can say every single week. God bless Bruno Fernandes. Against
I
Newcastle,
saw.
yeah.
I'm actually does it. I mean, I don't know how good Real Sociedad is, but I looked at the lineups earlier on in the game, and I saw Sociedad's lineup, and I was like, this is a team that could give him some problems. You had Adnan Januzaj revenge game. You had, I think
David
is that
Silva,
David Silva. They also had that one center mid who's been around
Illaramendi.
forever. Illaramendi is a pretty decent player. I was like, yeah, this gives him United some problems, and they just thrashed him. So
Yeah, no, that's a good win.
kudos to them for a good result there. But um, yeah, West Brom, tough.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's been a lot of debate about Maguire and Lindelof, and one of them's good without the other, or both are good without the other, but they're not good together. If you had to pick one to keep and one to ditch, who do you choose?
I mean, it's got to be Maguire. I think I don't I don't watch as United as much as you guys. I don't know what you think of Lindelof, but Lindelof just looks like a placeholder. Like he's a bang average defender. I don't know what he really does well. He's just like he's just exceptionally average. So I think you can probably work around Maguire a little more.
Yeah, bin Lindelof, keep Maguire. I agree. Lindelof's one of those defenders that he's always got that this is so unfair face. Like like he gets manhandled and he's always got that face like, oh, it's just so unfair. And like he's concedes
Like, oh,
goals and he's like,
yeah.
oh, like what happened? This looking for an excuse. He's just got one of those faces that's like, no wonder you get beat up by strikers. They can see the weakness in your eyes.
Yeah. He's just pouting around like these guys are too big and strong. Like what's
Yeah,
going on here?
exactly. Um, although like Bailly's definitely not going to get bullied, the backup. So you love seeing Bailly sometimes, but man, is that guy got a mistake in him. So
Yeah, he's like the anti Lindelof. I feel like
yeah, they're
Lindelof's
polar opposites.
more of a steady and present back there. He's not got that athleticism going for him, so he's obviously got to be a little more technically sound, a little savvier. Then you got Bailly who just plays completely rashly, just does wherever he feels like, step overs in the box, whatever he's feeling in the moment.
Yeah, so I don't know if he's the answer either, but I don't know. Something's got to give. They've conceded too many crap performances against teams that they should beat. Enough is enough, in my opinion. Yeah, they better win this game. That's all I can say. And hopefully pile on for Newcastle. I would love to see Newcastle get relegated. I'd love to see a Fulham Great Escape and a Newcastle relegation. What do you think?
Yeah, the glory days of Newcastle are definitely gone from the Santiago Muñoz, the gold days, back when they're getting movies made about them.
Yeah.
The luster's a little bit worn off. I don't really care much from these days.
Who do you think? Do you think we see Andy Carroll? Do you think we see Andy Carroll start this weekend?
I don't know. I mean, he's got a murderer's row of strikers over there. We got Carroll, Yolinto, Dwight
Joelinton
Gale.
and Gale, yeah.
Take your pick there.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Look at those three strikers and then look at the Burnley three strikers. Another team. Well, I guess obviously Wilson's hurt, but another team that would kill to have one of those three right now. I hope Carroll plays. Held on to him in fantasy, and I think he offers the most. Just think he offers
definitely
the most.
offers the most in terms of potential goals, but you gotta be careful with him. He's a delicate toy. You might pull him out sometimes. You gotta, you can maybe play him for 30 minutes one week, and then you gotta rest him for a couple. Like a sports car, you don't want to burn him out.
Yeah, 100%. Andy Carroll is the Corvette, the Lamborghini of the Premier League. And last and quite possibly least, we got Monday midday, Brighton versus Crystal Palace. My question I have is, if the over-under for goals is always 2.5 in games, if the over-under for goals in this game was 1.5, what would you pick? Would you go over under 1.5? Yeah. So 0 or 1 goals or any other number. What do you think? I honestly think I would stay under.
Really? Yeah, you have that little faith in Brighton to put a few past Palace?
Brighton never scores. They look good, but they just never score. The amount of 0-0s they've had, or 0-1s or whatever.
The expected goals kings, like 25 shots. 25 shot. Oh man, I wish we had Keegan here. He could tell us what their expected goals in the Villa game was. It's probably like 6.
Yeah, seriously.
And
then Palace. I mean, maybe the key to getting Brighton to score is playing against the Palace defense.
Yeah, I mean, playing Crystal Palace is probably the best medicine for every team out there. Know what you should do? Know what the bet would be? It would be like, I don't know, first 10 minutes over and then the rest of the game under or something like that.
Go on the first 10 minutes, yeah.
Take advantage. Yeah, go on the first 10.
So what you do is you bet the over. When the early goal happens, you cash out and bet the under.
Yep.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that's what you want to do, profit chasers. Palace. I'm looking at the standings here because I wanted to see how close Palace are. Yeah, they're 29 points. Fulham's on 19. They've looked horrible, but I still think they got enough. It's kind of Palace every year. They just do the bare minimum, eh?
Yeah, they go on a nice little run at some point. Zaha will get hot. They'll bank a few points, and that's all you need when there's usually enough really shitty teams that if you win a few games at 1 point, you're usually good to go.
Yeah. All right. Well, enough blabbling. Let's get these bets in. You want to lead us off, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I can fire it up.
All right, fire it up.
Thank God we don't have to listen to Cam talk for like 5 minutes about the most obscure bets in the world this week. Tell us
Newcastle over 6.5 corners.
How many corners are going to be in every single game? Yeah. But tough to chirp when he's absolutely whooping my arse. All right. So I'm going to roll with the Leeds Wolves. This game's tomorrow, eh? Yeah, I'm going to try and watch this one. I'm going to cheer for the over. $10 in the over. I'm also going to go back on the Burnley to 0 bet.
Sorry, quickly, what is the over? And what are the odds for the over in this Wolves-Leeds game? Because you got Leeds who are over Kings and Wolves who are under Kings. How did it end up going?
Yeah, they pretty much canceled out. It's about even odds.
There you go. So I guess they answered our question that we asked all those, at the start of the podcast.
Well, they didn't take a strong side really either way. They just kind of put themselves in the middle there.
Fair enough. Okay. Leeds Wolves over. Burnley to 0. Love it.
Got the Burnley to 0 bet. Bring that one back. Haven't bet it in a little while.
Hottest bet in sports.
I get these bets and I just forget about them. But I'm also going to go with a Burnley winner draw and a City parlay. That works out to about even odds. So nice. I like that one.
Love that.
I'm also going to go with Everton winner draw. That one's sitting at like 3-1 right now. So that's a pretty good line for a winner draw right there. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with Fulham. $10 on Fulham. We talked about that. I think this is a game they got to win if they want to get back in the hunt. So
Yes,
sure they'll be
indeed.
hungry. And then actually we didn't talk about this game, but it is kind of on the game week slate. It's the Tuesday game. It's Southampton Leeds. I'm gonna throw
Oh,
a bet on
yeah.
that one.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Just even though we've been ripping on Southampton, talking about how bad they are, I feel like betting on Southampton at this point. It's like betting on France to win a war, but I mean, being a huge dog against the league doesn't really make sense. Like, I mean, Leeds being huge favorites against anyone is a little suspicious. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna bet on Southampton to get back in the win column. So
That's
put 10 bucks
bold.
on Southampton in that game.
Wow, that is bold.
Yeah,
Good for you.
yeah, good for me for throwing my money away.
Yeah.
What a hero.
What a hero. Is that all you got?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I like some of your bets, and I'll back some of them here. I'm throwing 50 on Manchester City
Oh boy.
just to beat Arsenal. Come on, City. You've won a million games in a row. Don't let this be the 1 week you don't when I back you with 50 bucks. 50 to win 25 on City. I'm going Leeds over Wolves. Like I said, you want the team that's going to be playing the attacking football. 10 bucks on Leeds. $5 on Burnley. I kind of wanted to throw a little bit more, but West Brom gets these draws sometimes, like last week, so you never know. But $5 on Burnley. They're just the better team. They're at home, and it's even money. It's usually enough for me to bet. $5 on Fulham for the exact same reasons as stated just now, and the same reasons you said. This is an absolute must-win for them. I think they'll be coming for Sheffield with the Magic Man leading the line. Aston Villa, Leicester, two good teams. I think this is a very close game. I'm going with $5 on a draw. Hopefully it's an entertaining one. And then I've got, of course, I've got two double chance parlays. I've got Leeds or draw against Wolves. This is my bet against the team who can't score parlay. This is Leeds or draw because Wolves can't score, parlayed with Palace or draw because Brighton can't score. A little bit iffy on the Palace one, but the number's pretty good for double chance. That's $5 on that one. And then my other one is a bit more of a long shot. It's draw or Tottenham against West Ham, just because, I don't know, Tottenham underdogs, you don't get that every day, so taking that double chance. Parlayed with Everton or draw, just because I said that's too good to kind of let slip through my fingers, the number against Liverpool. So $5 on that as well. Pays nearly 3 to 1. So those are my bets for the week, and looking forward to getting back in that positive. What do you figure, Sandy?
Yeah. I mean, we're always hoping it happens, but tough to come by.
Yep. All right. Yeah. Anything else to plug? Anything else to say before we head out? What's the game of the weekend? What's the one game you want to make sure you're watching?
It's really tough for me to say this, but I think it's the two early ones. I'm liking the West Ham Tottenham game and the Villa Leicester game.
Yeah.
Both very early. So
I think Villa Leicester's a great shout. Yeah. I mean, my game to watch is always the Manchester United one, but if not that one, then I love those two you shouted out. And obviously, I do think the Liverpool Everton game should be fun, even though late in recent years it's been a lot of 0-0s in that fixture, in that derby. But I think both teams maybe aren't feeling the pressure as much this year because they've been, not as consistent. So maybe they'll just let it fly. All righty. I think that's going to do us for Banter Bets and BPL week. What is this? Week 20 something betting. Stay safe out there. Just remember that Everton cannot be trusted against any bad team, and you should be okay in your bets. Stay safe, bet safer. Thanks for listening. If anyone's out there listening, hey, come on as a guest. We're short in numbers. We need something to spice things up. So get in touch and we'll have you on. Absolutely. Thanks for listening. Banter Bets and BPL. And we are done.